Welcome back to your hour. Joining me now is Frederick Pollock-Galvan, and might be a familiar face to many of you. He has been a news reporter on our station, an intern. You've worn a lot of hats here.
Still wearing a lot of
Yeah,
hats.
and that's
Need him
right.
more than ever with this head.
That's
But
right. But one of the things you wanted to talk to us about today, this is the time of year people like to take trips and go places and
oh yeah,
do stuff. Sometimes money is an issue, you
yeah,
know?
money is an issue, and just finding something that appeals to all ages
Hmm.
is really that's the tough part. So what we were talking about just over the past couple of weeks there, what are some ideas that are outside the norm and maybe even outside the area that are both cost effective and that appeal to all ages?
Hmm.
And so,
Things that you can just
yeah,
drive to. You don't have to fly.
yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to go all that far. I mean, the goal of this was not only just cost effectiveness, but just finding somewhere maybe at most an hour and a half away or
Yeah.
something like that, and something unique.
Hmm.
Because not to say anything bad about like an art museum or a park or whatever, but you go to that enough and like, oh well, I've been there before, so
Yeah.
it's like, oh hey, that's not new. So,
Yeah.
well, our first trip as part of this series was actually to a small town called Wakita, Oklahoma. It is home of the Twister Museum from the movie Twister. They
Wakita
cover
was actually a
that sort of
site for
thing.
the Twister movie
There she is.
filming, and uh, we're a very small community just over the Kansas border. We have lots of behind the scenes videos, photographs. Uh, we have a Dorothy, we have a pinball machine, we have the football that Bill Paxton played with. So it's a unique experience to come visit us.
And that actually, as you saw, was Linda Wade. She is the proprietor of that museum,
Hmm.
and that lady is very well known in her community. She used to be the wife of the mayor in there.
Hmm.
She was a member of the Garden Club, and she was one of the leading forces that helped, organize the museum to what it is today. And what it is actually a free attraction. And it actually shows movie memorabilia, like set reconstructions, that sort of thing. When you go into the museum, do you remember that big probe that they were lugging around and
Oh,
everything?
yeah, yeah.
That the Dorothy, as they
Uh-huh.
called it, with all the little things and the little sensors in it. They
Uh-huh.
have one of them. They don't have the fancy one. The one they have was actually the one that was lugged onto the Jeep by Helen Hunt and Bill
Uh-huh.
Paxton. And she says that's the one with the character, not the fancy one. But and she also said, yeah, you're welcome to try and lift it because they make it look like they're lifting it with brute force. You can't lift it. I don't want to give away any secrets, but I'm just telling you before you pull a muscle or anything like that. You want to be safe. But what I thought was most interesting, in addition to some of the props and that sort of thing, was actually seeing not just the photos of what the town looked like then, and then when Hollywood added their touch to it,
Uh-huh.
but what they have actually is really neat. They actually have behind the scenes video that was shot by people around town with their home camcorders,
Oh, sure.
and Warner Brothers let them use it
Oh,
for the museum because it's a museum, you're not going to profit from it or
yeah.
whatever. And it goes on, you can see how scenes are set up, how they're shot, how multiple takes were done,
Uh-huh.
and everything. And aside from that, Linda, who you just saw, she is an excellent storyteller. She has a lot of great anecdotes, and she gives a real personal character and
Hmm.
just shows you what it's like to be a citizen in the middle of a big Hollywood film.
Yeah, because she was there. She
Yeah,
was, yeah.
she was there. I think she was one of the extras, and one of her scenes was not cut. So there's actually a shirt at the museum there. It's like I was in the movie Twister, but my scene was cut. Well, but it's like a participation shirt or something like that.
That's funny.
hmm But I mean, I didn't expect it to be nearly as big or I guess just as stock full of information and just I guess exhibits
Uh-huh.
as there were, but they also give you like a little souvenir, if you will. I have this wonderful postcard that you can tell everyone that you went to Wakita and you saw the museum, and they give you genuine Twister debris. Compliments of Twister the Movie Museum in Wakita, Oklahoma. Now, I thought this was red dirt at first. I'm like, well, I could have gotten that off the side
Yeah.
of the road. But what she told me was that this is actually one of the bricks, You know,
Oh, yeah?
when they demolished the
Uh-huh.
town, they actually ended up, since Wakita is a very small town, they actually had to bring in additional bricks and all sorts of stuff. And they had to
Uh-huh.
build onto the town to destroy part of the town.
Yeah.
So
They couldn't spare it.
I guess not. I guess not.
That's funny.
But yeah, you get your own little piece of Hollywood history when you visit there.
That's funny.
And it's a great experience. If you could, I'd like to show file 3 that has a lot of information on it. Here you go. This is Twister the Movie Museum. It's right on Main Street. It is hard to get lost in Wakita. And going there is actually pretty easy as well. You just go down 35 to Blackwell, and instead of going left to Blackwell, Oklahoma, you go right. Maybe about a half hour or so, take Route 11A, and it's 5 miles. And the reason I know this, the sign says 5 miles to Wakita, 5 miles to the end of Route 11A. So
Oh, yeah?
you're going to get there either way. Admission, of course, is free. Donations are accepted, and they keep the museum afloat, of course. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 1 to 5 p.m. I can guarantee you Linda will be the one that picks up the phone and talks to you.
Yeah.
And they can also make special arrangements. If you want to visit outside of those hours, she has the key, so she can get you in. And there's a link to their Facebook page right there, facebook.com/Twist Through the Movie Museum, and you'll be able to learn more and see photos. What I didn't also know until my visit there is it's not only booming business to people from the area, but it's big in the storm chaser community.
Oh.
Way to visit that place, kind of like in the movie how they all went to their Aunt Meg's house.
Yeah, yeah.
They kind of do that with the Twister Museum because it's such a big part of that movie, and that movie was a big part of making storm chasing, I guess, famous to the general public.
Yeah, and that movie was very popular. I mean, not just here in the Midwest where
Oh,
we
yeah.
know what a twister is.
Oh yeah.
But it was popular around the United States. So maybe the world. I don't know.
Oh
but,
yeah.
But it was and I don't even know what year was it made. Do you know?
It was 1996.
Really?
I was
Okay.
10 years old and I saw it 3 times, and then I had to be reminded how old I was afterward. So how old I felt. So like, ugh. But yeah, it was quite an experience, and I'd highly recommend it to anyone that's looking for something a little different for a day trip.
Yeah. And you said that's about how much of a drive
Oh, it's about, let's see,
from here?
about 50 miles down to Blackwell, and then add another, I don't know, 25, 30 miles out. So you're only spending about maybe an hour, hour and a half. Nice country drive, too.
Very cool. Well, and Oklahoma has so many attractions, so, you know. Well, Freddie, it's so nice of you to join us today, and we'll have you back again to talk about some of your other excursions.
Oh, just wait and see.
We'll be right back with more Your Hour, so stay with us.